तिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण जय श्री प्रभुपाद। हरि बोल।
Haribo. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Okay, so today we continue this book, Sri Isopanisad.
So how has been the reading experience so far with this book? Is it okay?
Yes, Prabhu.
Like no feedback for the quality or anything that I can probably improve? I think it's okay,
It's
right?
so nice.
Okay, Prabhu.
Others? Maybe Jad Prabhu had something.
I'm little IFK, Prabhu. I'm hearing you.
Okay, then I can start if you want.
Yes, Prabhu.
आसुर्यानाम ते लोका अन्धेन तमसावृताः तांस्ते प्रेत्याभिगच्छन्ति ये के चात्महनो जनाः। Asuryah, meant for the Asuras. Nama, famous by the name. Te, those. Lokaha, planets. Andhena, by ignorance. Tamasa, by darkness. Avritaha, covered. Tan, those planets. Te, they. Pretya, after death. Abhigachanti, enter into. Ye, anyone. Ke, everyone. Cha, and Atmahanaha, the killers of the soul. Janaha, persons. The killer of the soul, whoever he may be, must enter into the planets known as the worlds of the faceless, full of darkness and ignorance. Purport. Human life is distinguished from animal life. Ah, disappeared again.
Oh, sorry, Prabhu. Oh, here it is. Atmaha. Atmahanaha. So what
So,
is killer of the
is that
soul?
a typo?
What is killer of the soul, Prabhu?
Actually, I've also asked myself that, why is it written like killer of the soul?
How can the
Maybe
soul
just
kill
even,
you?
yes, that's what I'm saying. Maybe here soul means something different because I think in the Bhagavad Gita also, I think in around chapter 2 or 3 or something, Prabhupada also mentioned that the term Atma doesn't necessarily also always mean soul. Atma can also mean mind, right?
Yes, bro, but this also means soul because when you bring your soul to unconscious state, that is same as killing the soul. And when you plunge yourself to the lowest pieces of life, like those of trees and this, it's like killing of the soul. So
Yeah,
that's
actually, you're also right. Yeah, that's another good angle to look at. Yeah, I mean, the moment we fall into ignorance, practically, we've just killed the entire spirit,
yes, Prabhu. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
So
killing.
human life, yeah. So human life is distinguished from animal life due to its heavy responsibilities. Those who are cognizant of these responsibilities and who work in that spirit are called suras, godly persons. And those who are neglectful of these responsibilities or who have no information of them are called asuras, demons. Throughout the universe, there are only these two types of human being. In the Rig Veda, it is stated that the asuras always aim at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord Vishnu and act accordingly. Their ways are as illuminated as the path of the sun. Intelligent human beings must always remember that the soul obtains a human form after an evolution of many millions of years in the cycle of transmigration. The material world is sometimes compared to an ocean, and the human body is compared to a solid boat designed especially to cross this ocean. The Vedic scriptures and the acharyas or saintly teachers are compared to expert boatmen, and the facilities of the human body are compared to favorable breezes that help the boat ply smoothly to its desired destination. If, with all these facilities, a human being does not fully utilize his life for self realization, he must be considered Atmaha, a killer of the soul. Sri Isopanisad warns in clear terms that the killer of the soul is destined to enter into the darkest region of ignorance to suffer perpetually. There are swine, dogs, camels, asses, etc., whose economic necessities are just as important to them as ours are to us. But the economic problems of these animals are solved only under nasty and unpleasant conditions. The human being is given all facilities for a comfortable life by the laws of nature because the human form of life is more important and valuable than animal life. Why is man given a better life than that of the swine and other animals? Why is a highly placed government servant given better facilities than those of an ordinary clerk? The answer is that a highly placed officer has to discharge duties of a higher nature. Similarly, the duties human beings have to perform are higher than those of animals, who are always engaged in simply feeding their hungry stomachs. Yet, the modern soul killing civilization has only increased the problems of the hungry stomach. So, when we approach a polished animal in the form of a modern civilized man and ask him to take interest in self realization, he will say that he simply wants to work to satisfy his stomach and that there is no need of self realization for a hungry man. So, the laws of nature are so cruel, however, that despite his denunciation of the need for self realization and his eagerness to work hard to fill his stomach, he is always threatened by unemployment. So, we are given this human form of life not to work hard like asses, swine, and dogs, but to attain the highest perfection of life. If we do not care for self realization, the laws of nature force us to work very hard, even though even though we may not want to do so. Human beings in this age have been forced to work hard like the asses and bullocks that pull carts. Some of the regions where the asuras are sent to work are revealed in this verse of Sri Isopanisad. If a man fails to discharge his duties as a human being, he is forced to transmigrate to the Asurya planets and take birth in degraded species of life to work hard in ignorance and darkness. So in the Bhagavad Gita 6.41 to 43, it is stated that a man who enters upon the path of self-realization but does not complete the process, despite having sincerely tried to realize his relationship with God, is given another chance to appear in a family of Shuchi or Shrimat. So the word Shuchi indicates a spiritually advanced Brahman, and Shrimat indicates a Vaishya, a member of the mercantile community. So the person who fails to achieve self-realization is given a better chance in his next life due to his sincere efforts in this life. If even a fallen candidate is given a chance to take birth in a respectable and noble family, one can hardly imagine the status of one who has achieved success. By simply attempting to realize God, one is guaranteed birth in a wealthy or aristocratic family. But those who do not even make an attempt, but those who do not even make an attempt, who want to be covered by illusion, who are too materialistic and too attached to material enjoyment, must enter into the darkest regions of hell as confirmed throughout the Vedic literature. Such materialistic asuras sometimes make a show of religion, but their ultimate aim is material prosperity. So the Bhagavad Gita 16.17 to 18 rebukes such men by calling them Atma Sambhavita, meaning that they are considered great only on the strength of deception and are empowered by the votes of the ignorant and by their own material wealth. Such asuras, devoid of self realization and knowledge of Ishavasya, the Lord's universal proprietorship, are certain to enter into the darkest regions. The conclusion is that as human beings, we are meant not simply for solving economic problems on a tottering platform, but for solving all the problems of the material life into which we have been placed by the laws of nature. Hare Krishna, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Who would like to continue?
Haribol. Thank you, Prabhu.
Amit Prabhu, would you like to continue? Okay, AFK, I think.
Yes, bro. I wonder.
Okay, Prabhu, please continue reading from Mantra 4. Can you do so?
Yes, bro.
Hare Bol, please continue.
Prabhu.
From where? From here.
Yes, Prabhu, Mantra 4. This is Mantra 4.
अनेजद एकम मनसो जापियो नैनदेव आप्नुवं पूर्वम अर्षत् तद्धावतोऽन्यं न्यन अत्येति तिष्ठत्. So I don't know that tune which we do now.
Okay, I can help you here.
Okay,
Can you go up? Or maybe zoom out just a little bit? Maybe you can zoom out. Yeah, okay, perfect. So the tune for this verse is as follows. And of course, before I go on, note that this verse has a total of 11 syllables per line. So for those verses that are 11 syllables, that tune is slightly different, which is as follows. अनेजदेकं मनसो जवीयो नैनद्देवाप्नुवन् पूर्वमर्षत् तद्धावतोऽन्यानत्येति तिष्ठत् तस्मिन्नपो मातरिष्वा ददाति.
Haribol.
Make sense?
Yes.
Try again. This tune only.
So I can't do actually in that same.
Okay, even if you fail the second time, no problem. We'll continue even after you fail, but try once again.
Should others
Okay.
also do?
You can also, after yes, Prabhu, after Amit Prabhu chance, you can also try.
No, Lebahang Prabhu also.
Yes,
Okay,
Prabhu,
Prabhu.
let me know if you can stand.
And we
Okay,
make
Amit Prabhu, continue.
अनेजदेकं मनसो जापियो नैनदेव अप्नुवां पूर्वम् अर्षत्. It's not happening. तद् धावतोऽन्यान् अत्येति तिष्ठत् तस्मिन्नपो मातरिष्व दधाति. So
No
actually,
problem,
I
Prabhu.
also
It's better. It's slightly better than before.
yes, Prabhu.
It's slightly better than before, but one tip, please. Don't speak during the chanting of the verse. Speak only once you've completed it, no matter how imperfect it is. Okay?
Okay, bro.
Always speak after you are done with the verse. Don't say anything like, oh, it's not happening. No. Finish the verse first and then you speak whatever you want. Okay?
Okay, bro. Bro, actually, I means I have to handle two times. One thing is tune, and one thing is I have to spell this. So, if I had been known the words before, then
Yes,
yeah,
Prabhu.
with time, yeah.
No problem, Prabhu. No problem. It comes with practice. Don't worry. Don't beat yourself up. Happens to the
Okay.
best of us. Okay, Sami Prabhu, please continue.
Haribol. अनेजदेकं मनसो जवीयो नैनद्देवा आप्नुवन् पूर्वमर्षात् तद्धावतोऽन्यानत्येति तिष्ठत् तस्मिन्नपो मातृष्वा ददाति.
Haribol, very nice, Prabhu. Levan Prabhu, are you AFK or are you present?
Hare Krishna.
Haribol.
You want a chant? You want a chant?
Prabhu,
Yes,
I
Prabhu.
can try. And it's, yeah, I don't want to say it's hard, but it's hard.
Prabhu, even
Should
if
I?
it's very bad, you still try. Trying should never be, lost. We have to always try at least.
Okay.
Try.
Anecharikam manaso jaivyo nainadevam apnuvan purvam arshat dadavato nyan ajeti titishat tasmin apom matarisva tataiti. Hey, tune.
Very nice attempt, Prabhu. Very nice attempt. I
Yes,
like
Prabhu.
it. So you can watch that video by that lecture by His Grace Tattva Prabhu, where he is teaching you how to recite the shlokas as per tune.
Oh,
Do
yes,
give
yes,
it a watch.
Prabhu.
It's a very nice lecture. Okay, Prabhu?
Very good,
Anyway,
yes.
who would like to continue with synonyms, translation, and purport?
Prabhu, I
Please read, Prabhu.
uh, Anejat fixed, ekam one, manasah than the mind, uh, ja- javiya more swift, na not enat this supreme Lord, deva the demigods like Indra etc. Apnuvan can approach, purvam in front, arshat moving quickly, tat he, dhavatah those who are running, anyan others, atyeti surpasses, tishtat remaining in one place, tasmin in him, uh, apaha rain, matarishwa the gods who control the wind and rain, dadhati supply. Translation: although fixed in his abode, the personality of Godhead is swifter than the mind and can overcome all others running. The powerful demigods cannot approach him, although in one place he controls those who supply the air and rain. He surpasses all in intelligence, excellence. Purport: uh, through mental speculation, even the greatest philosopher cannot know the Supreme Lord, who is the absolute personality of Godhead. He can be known only by his sorry, I left the
Can you see, Prabhu? It can only be.
uh, it's not appearing in the yeah, it is now. Devotees through his mercy. In the Brahm Samhita, it is stated that even a non-devotee philosopher travels through space at the speed of the wind or the mind for hundreds of millions of years, he will still find that the absolute truth is far, far away from him. The Brahma Samhita further describes that the absolute personality of Godhead has his transcendental abode, uh, known as Goloka, where he remains and engages in his pastimes, yet by his inconceivable potencies, he can simultaneously reach every part of his creative energy. In the Vishnu Puran, his potencies are compared to the heat and light that emanate from a fire. Although situated in one Although situated in one place, a fire can distribute its light and heat for some distance. Similarly, the absolute personality of Godhead, although fixed in his transcendental abode, can diffuse his different energies everywhere. Although his energies are innumerable, they can be divided into three principal categories: the internal potency, the marginal potency, and the external potency. There are hundreds and millions of subheadings to each of these categories. Um, the dominating demigods who are empowered to control and administer such natural phenomena as air, light, and rain are all classified within the marginal potency of the absolute person. Lesser living beings, including humans, also belong to the Lord's marginal potency. The the material world is the creation of the Lord's external potency, and the spiritual sky, where the kingdom of God is situated, is the manifestation of His internal potency. Thus, the different energies of the Lord are present everywhere. Although the Lord and His energies are non different, one should not mistake these energies for the supreme truth. Nor should one wrongly consider that the Supreme Lord is distributed everywhere impersonally uh, impersonally or that he loses his personal existence. Men are accustomed to reach conclusions according to their capacity for understanding, but the Supreme Lord is not subject to our limited capacity for understanding. It is for this reason that the Upanishads warn us that no one can approach the Lord by his own limited potency. In, in the Bhagavad Gita 10.2, the Lord says that even the great rishis and suras can know him. No, not even the great rishis and suras can know him. And what to speak of the asuras? For for whom there is no question of understanding the ways of the Lord. This fourth mantra of Sri Isopanisad is very clearly suggests that the absolute truth is ultimately the absolute person. Otherwise, there would have been no need to mention so many details in support of his personal features. Although Although the individual parts and parcels of the Lord's potencies have all the symptoms of the Lord himself, they have limited spheres of activity and are therefore all limited. The parts and parcels are never equal to the whole. Therefore, they cannot appreciate the Lord's full potency. Under the influence of material nature, foolish and ignorant living beings who are but parts and parcels of the Lord try to conjecture about the Lord's transcendental position. Sri Isopanishad warns of the futility of trying to establish the identity of the Lord through mental speculation. One should try to learn of the transcendence from the Lord Himself, the supreme source of the Vedas, for the Lord alone has full knowledge of the transcendence. Every part and parcel of the complete whole is endowed with some particular energy to act according to Lord's will. When the part and parcel living entity forgets his particular activities under the Lord's will, he is considered to be in Maya, illusion. Thus, from the very beginning of Sri Isopanishad warns us to be very careful to play the part designated for us by the Lord. This does not mean that the individual soul has no initiative of his own. Because he is part and parcel of the Lord, he must partake of the initiative of the Lord as well. When a person properly utilizes his initiative or active nature with intelligence, understanding, understanding that everything is Lord's potency, he can revive his original consciousness, which was lost due to association with Maya, the external energy. Uh, all power is obtained from the Lord. Therefore, each particular power must be utilized to execute the will of the Lord and not otherwise. The Lord can be known by one who has adopted such a submissive service attitude. Uh, Perfect knowledge means knowing the Lord in all his features, knowing his potencies, and knowing how these potencies work by his will. These matters are described by the Lord in the Bhagavad Gita, the essence of all Upanishads.
Haribol. Thank you, Prabhu.
Prabhu, thank you so much for reading, Prabhu. Who would like to continue next? Devan Prabhu, would you like to continue? All right, AFK.
Yes, Prabhu.
Please read for
I will
us.
read it,
Our
Prabhu.
pleasure.
Sorry, Prabhu.
You can read the next verse.
Should I read? Oh, should I start with the translation?
Oh, 1 second.
Not this one.
Oh,
This
you
is the
need
one
to do the mantra.
5, right?
Oh, please.
Is there a problem, Prabhu?
No, Prabhu. No, we need to chant this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I thought there was some mistake. Don't scare me like that. I let go, Devan Prabhu. Please chant.
Okay. Tada ejanti tanai jati tadure tadva antike tad antar asya sarvasya tad u sarvasya bahuyataha.
Haribol.
Hmm.
Can you chant it in the correct way, Prabhu?
I mean, you chanted it correctly, just pronunciation issue, but otherwise it was okay.
Yes.
Tune was also fine. But if you can stick to one of the official tunes, that's the best.
Okay, Prabhu.
I can chant it also.
So I'll chant it first and then Sami Prabhu can chant it. That's okay. Tade jati tad. Sorry, just 1 second. me set up this thing first. Okay. All right. Tade jati tanai jati taddure tadvantike tadantarasya sarvasya tadusarvasyasya bahyatah. Okay, actually, I don't know. This is 8 syllables per line, but because again this is a Yajurved mantra, maybe slight. Um, Let me see. Tad, ejati, tan, naijati. So that's 8. Tad
It's
dure,
eight,
tad
I think.
antike, yeah. Tadantar, asya sarvasya, yeah. Tadu sarvasyasya bahyanta. Okay, so see, the last line actually has 9 syllables. See?
Oh, yes, Prabhu.
Even excluding the because we're supposed to exclude the but even after excluding, it's 9. So that's why I kind of messed up in the last one. So sometimes I think these rare extra syllables. In fact, my sister was chanting the Ramayana just yesterday, and she asked me where I need to split, right? Because sometimes these verses occur in just 2 lines, right? Because
Yes,
they
Prabhu.
put 2 lines in 1 line. So she had to ask me where to split, right? So I told her to, yeah, just split in the middle. This is all 8, right? But then she said, no, there's like a second, like an extra syllable, you know? I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right, even after excluding the So, yeah, sometimes you do get these 9 syllable ones.
Yes, Prabhu.
So, tricky to chant, but the tune, I think, is still correct. The tune is still correct.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Now you try, Prabhu. Good luck.
This looks like a pyramid. It it goes
Yes,
everywhere.
Prabhu.
Okay, Haribol. Tad ejati tannai jati tad dure tad dvantike tad dantarasya sarvasya taddu sarvasyasya bhayataha
Yeah,
bhayataha.
Prabhu, better than me.
Yeah, this last one it was weird.
Yeah. You see. Okay, Leban Prabhu, please
Well, the
continue
bank
for the
was
rest of this.
oh he chanted, of course. Now this yes, you can continue, Prabhu.
That this Supreme Lord, Echati walks, that he not Echati walks, that he dure far away, that he you that he you also Antike very near, that he Antaha within Asya of this Saravasya of all, that he you also Saravasya all of all Asya of this Bahayataha external to the Supreme Lord works and does not. The Supreme Lord walks and does not walk. He is far away, but he is very near as well. He is within everything, and yet he is outside of everything.
Prabhu, how is this possible?
Okay, very confusing. Here is a description of some of the Supreme Lord's transcendental activities executed by his inconceivable potencies. The contradictions given here prove the inconceivable potencies of the Lord. He walks and he does not walk. Ordinarily, if someone can walk, it is illogical to say he cannot walk. But in reference to God, such a contradiction simply serves to indicate his inconceivable power. Within our limited fund of knowledge, we cannot accommodate such contradictions, and therefore we conceive of the Lord in terms of our limited powers of understanding. For example, the impersonalist philosopher of the Mayavada school accepts only the Lord's impersonal activities and rejects his personal feature. But the member of the Bhagavata school, adopting the perfect conception of the Lord, accept his inconceivable potencies and thus understand that he is both personal and impersonal. The Bhagavatas know that without inconceivable potencies, there can be no meaning to the word Supreme Lord. We should not take it for granted that because we cannot see God with our eyes, the Lord has no personal existence. Sri Isopanisad refutes this argument by declaring that the Lord is far away but very near also. The abode of the Lord is beyond the material sky, and we have no means to measure even this material sky. If the material sky extends so far, then what to speak of the spiritual sky, which is altogether beyond it? That the spiritual sky is situated far, far away from the material universe is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 15.6. But despite the Lord's being so far away, he can at once within less than a second descend before us with a speed swifter than that of the mind or wind. He can also run so swiftly that no one can suppress him. This has already been described in the previous verses. Yet, when the personality of Godhead comes before us, we neglect him. Such foolish negligence is condemned by the Lord in the Bhagavad Gita 9:11, where he says that the foolish deride him, considering him a mortal being. He is not a mortal being, nor does he come before us with a body produced of material nature. There are many so-called scholars who contend that the Lord descends in a body made of matter, just like an ordinary living being, not knowing his inconceivable power. Such foolish men place the Lord on an equal level with ordinary men because he is full of inconceivable potencies. God can accept our service through any sort of medium, and he can convert his different potencies according to his own will. Non believers argue either that the Lord cannot incarnate himself at all, or that if he does, he descends in a form of material energy. These arguments are nullified if we accept the existence of the Lord's inconceivable potencies, then we will understand that even if the Lord appears before us in the form of material energy, it is quite possible for him to convert this energy into spiritual energy. Since the source of the energies is one and the same, the energies can be utilized according to the will of the source. For example, the Lord can appear in the form of the Archa Viragraha, Viragra, a deity supposedly made of earth, stone, or wood. Deity forms, although engraved from wood, stone, or other matter, are not idols, as the iconoclast is it in iconoclast contend.
Oh, I'm gonna start calling these people with this name. I'm gonna say you iconoclast
Is
in Reddit when they attacked us.
it people who attack the believers, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
Oh,
Heard
Iconoclast.
that before.
in our present state of imperfect material existence, we cannot see the Supreme Lord due to imperfect vision. Yet those devotees who want to see him by means of material vision are favored by the Lord, who appears in a so-called material form to accept his devotees' service. One should not think that such devotees who are in the lowest stage of devotional service are worshipping an idol. They are factually worshipping the Lord, who has agreed to appear before them in an approachable way. Nor is the Acha form fashioned according to the whims of the worshipper. This form is eternally existent with all paraphernalia. This can be actually felt by a sincere devotee, but not by an atheist. In the Bhagavad Gita 4.11, the Lord says that how he treats his devotees depends on the devotee's degree of surrender. The Lord reserves the right not to reveal himself to anyone and everyone, but to show himself only to those souls who surrender unto him. Thus, for the surrendered soul, he is always within reach, whereas for the unsurrendered soul, he is far, far away and cannot be approached. Prabhu, what's the verse again of that statement for the ones who surrender, the degrees of surrendering?
Which one?
Is there a verse to it? Can you go a little bit up? Yeah, like it says that the devotees, yeah, on top of the highlighted part. Oh, it's 4.11, right? I'm just gonna take a screenshot. Yes. Yes. In this connection, two words, the revealed scriptures often apply to the Lord. Saguna, with qualities, and nirguna, without qualities, are very important. The word saguna does not imply that when the Lord appears with perceivable qualities, he must take on a material form and be subject to the law of real nature. For him, there's no difference between the material and spiritual energies because he is the source of all energies. As the controller of all energies, he cannot at any time be under their influence as we are. The material energy works according to his direction, therefore, he can use that energy for his purposes without ever being influenced by any of the qualities of that energy. In this sense, he is nirguna, without qualities, nor does the Lord become a formless entity at any time. For ultimately, he is the eternal form, the primeval Lord. He is impersonal aspect or Brahman effulgence, is but the glow of his personal rays, just as the sun's rays are the glow of the sun god. When the child Saint Prahlad Maharaj was in the presence of his atheist father, his father asked him, "Where is your God?" That's Hiranyakashipune, the father. When Prahlad replied that God resides everywhere, the father angrily asked whether his God was within one of the pillars of the palace, and the child said yes. At once, the atheist king shattered the pillar in front of him to to pieces, and the Lord instantly appeared as Nrsimha, the half man, half lion incarnation, and killed the atheist king. Thus, the Lord is within everything, and he creates everything by his different energies. Through his inconceivable powers, he can appear at any place in order to favor his sincere devotee. Lord Nrsimha appeared from within the pillar not by the order of the atheist king, but by the wish of his devotee Prahlad. An atheist cannot order the Lord to appear, but the Lord will appear anywhere and everywhere to show mercy to his devotee. The Bhagavad Gita 4.8 similarly states that the Lord appears in order to vanquish non believers and protect believers. Of course, the Lord has sufficient energies and agents who can vanquish atheists, but it pleases him to personally favor a devotee. Therefore, he descends as an incarnation. Actually, he descends only to favor his devotees and not for any other purpose. In the Brahma Samhita 5.35, it is said that Govinda, the primeval Lord, enters everything by his plenary portion. He enters the universe as well as all the atoms of the universe. He is outside in his Virat form, and he is within everything as an Anantaraya. Anantarayami. Is it Anantarayami? As
Antaryami.
Anantaraya. What?
Antaryami.
Antaryami. Oh, I'm thinking of Ananta. There's an incarnation called Ananta, ne Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu, but that's Balaram. This means something different.
Oh, Anantarayami. Anantarayami.
Not
Something.
Ananta. There's no Ananta. It's Anta.
Oh,
Antaryami.
Anta. Oh, Antaryami.
Yes.
Antaryami. He he witnesses everything that is going on, and he awards us the results of our actions as karma pala. Karma pala pala. We ourselves may forget that we ourselves may forget what we have done in previous lives, but because the Lord witnesses our actions, the results of our actions are always there, and we have to undergo the reactions nonetheless. The fact is that there is nothing but God within and without. Everything is a manifestation of his different energies, like the heat and light emanating from a fire. This and in this way, there is a oneness in his diverse energies. Although there is oneness, however, the Lord in his personal form still enjoys ultimately all the pleasures enjoyed minutely by the tiny part and partial living entities.
Haribo. Thank you, Prabhu.
Prabhu, what is this book?
Sri
Isopanisad.
Isopanisad, Prabhu.
Oh, in Isopanisad. Okay.
Yes, Prabhu. It's basically a small portion of the Yajurved, one of the four principal Vedas.
Oh, yes, yes, Prabhu.
Okay, now it's 10 o'clock in India. What the Indian devotees say? Should we read one more, or what should we do?
Or if it's 10 o'clock, then we should probably end here and move on to the Shikshashtak prayers.
Yes, bro. Okay, one second.
Because His Grace Prahlad Bhakta Prabhu's instruction for the Indian devotees at least is that they go to bed by 10. So we should respect. चेतोदर्पणमार्जनं भवमहाधावाग्निर्वापणं श्रेयः कैरवचन्द्रिका वितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दाम्बुधिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतास्वादनं सर्वात्मस्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनम्
Namna makari bahuja nitya sarva shaktis tatrarpita niyamita smarane nakalaha eta trishitava kripan bhagavan mamapi durdaiva me trishamahajina nurakraha.
Trinadapi sunicena tarorapi sahisnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sada hari.
न धनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितां वा जगदीशकामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवतात् भक्तिरहैतुकी त्वयि
Ainandatanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishame bhavam buddho kripaya tvavapada pankaja stitaduli satrishim vichintaya.
नयनं गलदश्रुधारया वदनं गद्गदाहृदया गिरा पुलकैर्निचितं वपुः कदा तव नाम गृहणे भविष्यति.
योगायतं निमेषेण चक्षुषा प्रावृषायतं शून्यायतं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्दविरहेण मे
Asisleva padaratam pinastumam adarsanam marmam hatam karutuva yata tata va vidatulan pato mat prananatastu sa eva narpanaha.
Haribo, glory to the Sri Krishna
Glory
Sankirtan.
to
Hari Bol.
You can continue, Prabhu.
Oh, glory to the Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious.
O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them.
One should chant the holy name of the
One
Lord.
should,
Humble state of mind,
sorry,
thinking the Lord that the strive in the street, one should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly.
Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth.
O son of Maharaj Nanda, Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet.
Oh my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your? Oh, Govinda, feeling your separations, I'm considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord unconditionally.
Ribol, Sri Siksastakam Ki Jai. Okay, then the 10 Commandments of Jesus Christ. Oh
To
no,
bless him, the devotees have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord.
who knows the second one?
To consider the names of the demigods like Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma to be equal or independent of the names of the Lord Vishnu.
To disobey the orders of the spiritual master.
To
To
blaspheme.
blaspheme the Vedic speech.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, you can continue.
The scriptures or scriptures in Persians to the Vedic version.
To consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an image.
To give some interpretations to the holy name of the Lord.
To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the special ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities, karmakan.
Commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name, seventh offense.
To instruct a faceless person about the glories of the holy name.
To not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success. Krishna Prema.
Ribo.
Pancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Krita Sindhu Paditana
Itanam Pavanam
Yoga
Vaishnave
Namo
Namo
Namaha.
the Gaudiya Vaishnava Ki Jai, Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari.
Hari Bol.